Okay guys, Matt here. I'm going to take you through a quick rundown of Boundary Waters Course 2. This footage is actually about a year old, but I decided to go back through, do some editing, and put it together. So you got a nice little area here. You actually start out right by the tee to Boundary Waters 1, practice basket over there, and the Lost Disc box. You start with either in the 3-pin positions, usually 400 or the 725. You see it down here. It's on the other side of the lake, so I'm going kind of like a mid-speed backhand, trying to lay up near the edge of those woods, and then pitch up across the lake for the 3. Put in a pretty good spot down there, right at the edge, and then going to go forehand around here to the peninsula. And if you see where that blue generator thing is there, the water actually cuts back in pretty sharply to a culvert there, so ended up having a pretty good shot, but as you can see, you're real close to the water. And hole 2 is a really short par 3 through the woods. Basically just a little hyzer flip putter shot. You want to just put it through this gap and try not to catch an early tree. And that was kind of a shank, but ended up being fine. As long as you make the first 150 feet, you just kind of pitch up and you got it. This one I've never seen in the short position. It's a kind of not a dog leg right, but a gentle fading right with the basket semi on a hill. It kind of goes uphill, then down and back up again. I like to go forehand through that narrow gap in the front there, and then you can just kind of skip it up near the basket. I would say that hole 4 is one of the hardest ones on the course. You've got a couple different lines up to the basket. It's up here on the left side on the hill, but there's no clear line straight to it, so you either got to play that wide line out or the narrow one on the left. Cool bench here, though. They have some older collector discs encased in resin. Some of them are kind of damaged where people tried to get them out or something, though. So I'm going to go with a flippy fairway driver off to the right-hand gap and kind of just let it ride, then fade and pitch up for the par. This one you got the hole straight ahead on that little dike. You need to go backhand turn over like I did here, or force a forehand flex, which I've also done to great effect. And that's a pretty good hill there. It's like 12 feet up and then it drops off on the back. This hole's a really sharp dog leg left, so you want to kind of skip something right at the end of the tunnel here. That's about what you want to do, really. Skip up to the basket, and it's just around the corner to the left, like another 30 feet. Yeah, you get a good look at it right there. And number 7 here is a straight ahead par 3, around 260, 270 feet right on top of this little dike. It drops off sharp to both sides, so I like to throw something like an Envy or slower mid-range here. Going with a Warship this time, but I don't throw anything that fast these days on this hole, but it works out pretty good here. Again, looking back, so it's on a dike, but you got a break in the dike in the middle, so as long as you make sure you clear that and don't drop off to either side too bad, you'll be all right. I don't know why this one filmed sideways, but this one's a little forehand hole or backhand turnover with a kind of uneven green. You can roll into the water pretty easily, so I'm going with a really overstable putter here and just trying to stick it into the hill. And as long as you stick that landing, you're all right. You see a little water moccasin down there. A lot of snakes at this course, but not this time of year, of course. On 9 here, it's kind of a big open field shot. You can see it behind that small tree over there. Basically just give it some power going over there and see if you can get yourself a putt without going into the trees long. That's really the only peril, is going long here. And I did not go long on this one. Kind of put it in circle 2 over to the right. So not quite what I wanted, but it's not a bad play on this hole. On this one, you kind of got a slightly uphill left fading shot. Stick it right out in the open and then let it fade back around those pine trees over there. That's about what you want to do right here. This is a little fast, but I want to make sure I got the fade on the end. You see it back there tucked around the edge. And really, you're fine if you're in the open field as long as you don't saw it off. This is just a nice little forehand. Pretty straightforward down the tunnel. As long as you don't go off to the right too bad, you'll be in good shape. See, yeah, that's basically what you want right there. And this one's kind of interesting. It's a hard fading dogleg right with a creek right in front of the green, and it's got a hanging basket as well. So a lot going on here. Throwing the Justice the flare kind of soft, so it'll skip up, and either try to want to skip over this creek or land it just short since it's OB. This one's kind of an interesting hole. It's a true two-part shot. Where this one turns up there, where you can see is a really sharp left. So you kind of just want to put something slow, like an overstable putter or mid-range, right into the mouth of the gap right here, and then let it fade up. And then you have your shot out into the field. If it's in the shorter position, it's right at the mouth of the gap, but when I play it in most tournaments, it's up here on the edge of this little retention wall there. Got another theoretically easy hole where it's straight ahead, but pretty tightly wooded near the back of it. I'm going way too fast here. Too fast of a disc, but throwing on right down that gap, and it ended up okay. On this one, you kind of go back the other direction, and from the long pad, you kind of need to just bend one up there. And I busted it pretty hard, but shot was kind of okay. Still got the scar from that one, but not too bad of a shot. And this one's a shorter right fading shot. You just kind of want to stick something that'll fade right for you down there. I'm going with the Justice, trying to put it right on the inside, but I gave it a little bit too much anhyzer, so didn't get the fade I was looking for. Good look at that pin in the long position there. You got another downhill hole very similar to the one a couple holes back, but this one's got a creek in front of it that can be a little bit challenging at times. And another cool resin bench with all the minis in there from different tournaments and courses all over the country, so that one's very neat. Going with a flippy fairway driver, just trying to stick it down there where I've got a look, and that one ended up being just fine. Not amazing, but good enough. And pretty nice green here, actually, so you can be right or left a little bit and still have a line, even though it's a little bit tucked away. 18 from the longer position.